please order my steps because that's exactly what I need help doing. I don't know about you guys, but I need my steps to be ordered every day because if it's relying upon me, I am certain I'm going to get somewhere off track. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Hubert Grimes with The Judge Speaks. Happy to be with you again. This is, of course, the beginning of September. The year is rapidly unfolding, and of course, we're here in lovely Daytona Beach. Glad to have this opportunity to be able to be with you. Still working out a couple of bugs, but you guys bear with us, and I hope that the information that we're going to be sharing with you is always going to be something that will be beneficial. You know, you guys know my slogan. Those of you that are regulars with me, education is a key to being and staying free. And of course, never go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Every day, you ought to learn something new. I give tribute to Dr. Matt King Carter for those powerful words, because that really is the essence of what we talk about here on The Judge Speaks. We try to provide you with information. You know, Joy 106.3, which is the radio station that we are simulcasting with on Facebook Live, uh, is all about inspiration and information. And so I'm on that information side. But at the same time, I hope that the information that I share with you is indeed informative and it's going to make a difference in your life. I believe that our guest for today will certainly be one that's going to have a major impact on many of you out there as we move forward. I'm grateful that Brother Terrence is working the boards today. Miss Pat is not available at the moment, so of course, they tag team with one another. I'm glad to have them both and to be a part of that team. So shout out to both of them for all the hard work that they're doing to help make Joy 106.3 a household word, a household name. Um, you know, the month of September, there are a lot of things that we call it. There are a lot of things we call September. We call September, of course, if you like Earth, Wind, and Fire, like I do, my all-time favorite group, you know, we always think about their song, which talked about September. Then we had think about the fact that growing up, they used to talk about September as being like the dog days of summer, when those little things called gnats would just get on your nerves, and you can never get rid of them. It seemed. And then of course September is beginning of football season, and of course shout out to the Wildcats. You all went down and you represented this past weekend at FIU, though you didn't come back with the W. Nevertheless, you're getting stronger and better every day, and we look forward to it. You're going to be going back down to Miami again this week to play the U. And so we know that is, as many of us say, that's a money game. But we also hope that we represent well. And so, Coach Woody, be encouraged. Keep your guys on task. Let them go out there and showcase our talent as Wildcats. And of course, there are other games going on. I mean, we saw FSU beat Alabama last weekend. We saw, unfortunately, FAM lost to Howard by 1 point, also in Miami. And of course, now this weekend we get the NFL kicks in. I tend to be more of a college football lover than NFL, although it's all tied together. I can't help it. I grew up in football throughout my life from the time I was probably about 8 years old. But September coming up again with so many different things. Fall season is right around the corner. Officially, when we get to September, I think it's September 21st, 22nd, 23rd, yep. Somewhere in that range, we'll be shifting gears. Now, Florida never gets the memo on that. It's still hot. It is hot on September 25th and September 30th as it seems to have been in July. But nevertheless, we know this is the middle of hurricane season, and the peak of hurricane season is September 10th. So again, another thing about September. But today is a special day in September, and I'm glad. I was listening to a news broadcast actually early this morning, and they were talking about this September as being Pain Awareness Month. Pain Awareness Month. And they were talking about some of the new technologies that tries to identify pain. And it just happens to coincide with my guest for today. And I know many of you on Facebook, you're sitting there wondering, who's this gorgeous lady sitting over here beside him? And I know she's his guest, but let me tell you, she's not only gorgeous on the outside, very beautiful spirit, but also very highly intellectual and great at her craft. And we're going to talk about some of these things today because it's all just happened to tie in. So I know the good Lord had his hand on my being able to get her
Absolutely.
for today's show. And we're going to talk about pain awareness in the form of chiropractic care. Chiropractic care. And I'm so glad to have Dr. Amber Ball, who is a noted chiropractor here at the Daytona Beach area, and also my chiropractor.
That's right.
I can look back over a few years ago, and man, I was struggling. If you guys had seen me, I felt like I was 2 steps away from a walking cane. And in fact, the cane was so bad. Let me tell you, the pain was so bad then, and you remember because you helped bring me through that.
Yeah.
I remember my wife had a bright green, almost a lime green, like my polo shirt here, a lime green walking cane. And I think she might have had some flowers in it. I was hurting so bad. I got that walking cane, and I said, man, I don't care what it takes. I need some help.
I got to do what I got to do.
And so Dr. Ball was one of the people that really helped me. I mean, she guided me through some of the difficulty, and she's going to talk about a lot about the benefits of chiropractic care. Also, shout out to my primary care physician, Dr. Carol. Both happen to be AKAs.
That's right.
Dr. Carol St. James. And so I'm grateful that I got a team of people that help to keep me going. And welcome to the Judge Speaks.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, all right. Well, I've talked a lot in the early minutes here, but I want people to hear from you.
Okay.
And those of you that know Dr. Ball, I remember the first time I went to her office. It was actually down on Bevel Road, not far from my office. And lo and behold, when I went in to see her, one of my good friends was there at the same time. And boy, he was talking about how bad he was hurting. But he told me, he said, man, I'm going to tell you.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, I said, Dr. Ball, she know what she doing, man. She'll get you straight. She'll get you straight. Okay. And you know what? He was right. He was right. And I'm telling you, so she's been my chiropractic care physician since, about 19. I almost said 19, Lord, no, forgive me. She ain't but 19 herself. But 2021. 2021. Yeah, 2021. And here we are, 25, and I still try to go see her for maintenance. Absolutely. To make sure that, I'm still able to do all the various things that I'm involved with. So again, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Let's talk to you today. Talk a little bit about the things that you're doing. Yeah. Tell our audience out there about your background and how did you end up getting into this particular area of medicine? Okay,
well, it started out, I really had no intentions on being a chiropractor. I really didn't know much about chiropractic care, as much of us don't. And it was in our last semester of junior year at Florida Atlantic University. One of my assignments was to just go out and shadow just another profession. So at the time I wanted to be a physical therapist. Okay. I'm a personal trainer as well, so I love the body, the way that it moves. So I decided I'm just going to shadow my dad's friend. He's a chiropractor, get my credits so I can move on out of this class. And needless to say, when I did shadow him, it was about 3 or 4 hours. At that moment, I knew I want to be a chiropractor. And I still didn't have a huge knowledge of what it was, but I knew that whatever Dr. Andrew Leach, Port St. Lucie, Florida, whatever he was doing, that's the same thing that I wanted to do. So I completely changed my trajectory, switched some classes around, and became a chiropractor. So here I am. I've been in practice now a little over 5 years. I relocated to this area to go to Palmer, the College of Chiropractic. Yes, so moved here from South Florida and decided to stay. I love Daytona Beach. I love the area. So I decided to stay. So I opened my own practice 3 years ago.
Yes.
So I'm here in Ormond, 1414 West Granada, Suite 2. Come and see me.
Cornerstone
Chiropractic and Wellness. We've been there for about 3 years. So I had no intentions on being a chiropractor. It was God's plan the whole time. I didn't know it, but of course he knew it, and here I am.
So now, prior to doing that, I mean, you mentioned you went to Florida Atlantic for undergrad, yes. But where did you grow up at?
Grew up in the small, well, it's not small anymore, it's a growing city, the city of Port St. Lucie, Florida. My family is from Jamaica. Both my parents are from Kingston, Jamaica. They came here in the 80s, late 80s. I was born in the 90s, of course, and I grew up in Port St. Lucie. It was really small, very small community back then, and then eventually went to the University of West Florida, started my undergrad process there, and then finished up at Florida Atlantic University.
Okay.
Home of the Owls.
Home of the Owls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then from there, of course, as you said, you came to Palmer.
Yeah.
Now, for people that don't know much, maybe they haven't heard about Palmer before, Palmer is
It is
the school of chiropractic in the whole country.
Absolutely.
And actually started out in Iowa, isn't it?
Correct. In Davenport, Iowa. September is also the birthday or the birth month of chiropractic, September 15th, 1895.
Wow.
Founded by D.D. Palmer. And then, of course, his son BJ kind of took the helm after him. And our first location was in Davenport, Iowa. That is the mothership.
Okay.
A second location actually in San Diego, California. And then now a location here in Port Orange, Florida. And we are actually about to take over from Davenport as the biggest campus. Because,
Really?
I mean, who doesn't want to study chiropractic at the beach?
How about that?
It makes sense. It makes
How about
sense.
that?
So we're
and you
we're
probably
growing.
have a lot of potential patients out there, especially some of the crazy things people do, flipping and
Oh,
jumping and all of the other
The biggest
stuff.
thing now is pickleball players. I have
Pickleball.
so many, and I actually play now. It's a really fun sport.
Okay.
But pickleball players, I see a lot of pickleball players. They come in for their adjustments, maintenance, golf players. Florida's an pretty active state. So happy to see all of my athletes.
All right, all right.
Yes,
And
sir.
you yourself has some athletic background as
A
well.
little something, just a little something. I grew up playing volleyball.
Okay.
I love volleyball, and then of course cheerleading. That's my heart. Cheerleading was my heart. So my passion is really to see other athletes. I love other athletes, whether it's basketball, baseball, pickleball, the active community. That's my patient base,
All right.
and I absolutely love them.
And just like
Yeah.
you said, pickleball is a growing sport
It
here.
is. It really is.
And I don't know about the other states, but certainly here in Florida,
It is
we're
huge.
seeing. I mean, I know we've got the city of Holly Hill is a full-blown pickleball court. I mean, it's like it looks almost like the U.S. Open courts.
It's
I mean,
huge.
it's about 10 pickleball
It
courts
is.
up
I
in
think
there.
there's more than that. It's Pictona, I believe.
Pictona?
Pictona is what it's called.
Excuse me.
That's where I play. That's my
All
little
right.
spot. It's huge. There's more than 10. There has to be at
Wow.
least 20 courts there. Some are underneath the awning, some are outside. It's phenomenal. So I go there and scout sometimes. Get a
Okay.
couple of new patients.
All right, pass out a few cards.
Just a few cards and get
okay.
out there and play. So my background, of course, my bachelor's is in exercise science and health promotion. So I just love, the health of the body, the musculoskeletal system, the nervous system. So I made a whole career out of it.
Okay.
I made a whole career out of it.
So, talk to those who are maybe not just the skeptics on the one hand, but what about the people that maybe they always thought that chiropractic was something that was not available to them, or they may have heard about it only for car accidents. And you
Correct.
just mentioned
Yeah.
that there are several other categories of people that are quote unquote getting adjustments.
Absolutely.
Even like myself, who have been able to benefit from
Right.
chiropractic. Talk about what are some of the science behind it all?
Sure. So there is no age discrepancy for chiropractic care. My youngest patient, at the time, she was 6 weeks old. She was a tiny little baby. She was 6 weeks old. So I was able to see her. And then my oldest patient, he's actually 98
Wow.
years old. So my slogan is, I'll see anybody from the womb to the tomb. I know it's a
Wow.
little bit, I know. But
Okay.
from the womb to the tomb, I'll see just about anybody. Chiropractic care is not just for pain. I think that's a very common misconception.
Okay.
Usually patients will come in because they're in pain, of course, but my patients will stay on maintenance care because they never want to get back to where they were again. And I'm sure you can testify to that. Yep, raise your
Let the
hand,
church-
hold it high.
Let the church say amen on that one.
Amen, amen, and amen. So with chiropractic care, it is a natural and a holistic approach to treating the musculoskeletal system, which of course is the house of the nervous system. So our brain connects directly to our spinal cord, and the spine surrounds the spinal cord. It protects it. So it's important to keep yourself adjusted, keep yourself aligned. I'm sure we all know about pinched nerves. The number one or number two reason people come into the office, of course, is for sciatica.
Yeah.
Definitely for sciatica.
Yeah.
Those pinched nerves, they are hard to deal with. But there is a misconception, of course, about chiropractic that it's only for pain, or that, I've heard people say, oh, Dr. Ball, please don't kill me. Please don't snap my neck. Please I don't want you to hurt me. And, I understand, but there is no real, there are risks to chiropractic, but they're very, very, very minimal. As a chiropractic physician, our malpractice is the lowest among all doctors.
Really?
It's the absolute lowest because the risk versus the reward is definitely, it's comparable. So I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm scared to go. I want you to think about chronic pain and taking NSAIDs for a long amount of time. That's really detrimental to your kidneys. So instead of continuing to take NSAIDs, ibuprofen, Tylenol, it'd be better just to come in, get an adjustment, have a full exam, and then we'll see where we can go from there.
Well, you mentioned the word sciatica. That's a cuss word, y'all.
That's a monster. It's a monster.
Why do I say that? Because that's what I had to deal with.
Testify.
And you really don't ever know when it could affect you or where it comes from.
Right.
And honestly, I don't even remember what triggered sciatica with mine. I mean, it could have been a deterioration, it could have been age.
Right.
I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
I tell you what, that pain was not anything. It was no joke.
It's not
no
fun.
joke at all.
Not at all. The sciatic nerve is the largest nerve in the body. It's about the width of your thumb. So it is huge. It comes from your low back, goes down the back of your leg, and then splits by your knee. And then same thing on the opposite side. So let's say you lift something heavy, or you lift and twist, or also it could be just from degeneration of the spine. Once that sciatic nerve is pinched, or once it's compromised, it's like a bad child. It's hard to calm them down. You really got to work. And I have kids, so I can say that.
Yes,
But the sciatic nerve is one of the biggest nerves, is the biggest nerve in the body. So once it's angry, you definitely want to seek care. You want to seek care even before it gets angry. And then also make sure you have proper lifting techniques. Just make sure your lifestyle is a good lifestyle.
Now, there are people that we see when you talk about lifting. There's some people that's their job.
Right.
They're lifting boxes and all kinds of different heavy things all day long.
Right.
So are there some suggested techniques for lifting that may help minimize your getting to that point?
Absolutely.
Or certainly even after you get treated for sciatica, some of those folks got to go back to that type of lifting.
Right.
And so what are some suggestions for those who are in the
lifting profession? Yeah.
Yes.
So for those who lift, I have Amazon drivers, UPS drivers, construction workers. I have a lot of construction workers that come in. You have to brace yourself when you're going to lift, and you don't want to bend from your back. You want to lift with your legs. So God gave us our own back brace, your core. Don't go to Walmart. Unless you have to, don't go to Walmart. Don't go to these other places and buy a back brace unless you absolutely have to. What you can do is just strengthen your core. Your core is your God-given back brace. So that's going to be first. That's going to be primary. Make sure your core is strong. You don't have to have a 6-pack, an 8-pack, a 29-pack. You don't have to have that. That's not a bad thing, but you don't have to have that. Just make sure your core is strong, some core exercises, and then you want to lift not with your back. You want to lift with your legs. Your legs are very, very strong. You can train your legs as well, and you want to lift with your legs. And if it's too heavy, just ask for help. Definitely just ask for help.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, sir.
My brother was a trucker by profession.
Okay.
And for a while that he was unfortunately, while sitting still, another truck ran into him and caused a lot of damage to not only to the truck, but also to I think it was his left or right shoulder, not sure which one. But as a result of that, even with the care that he got, he was not able to do a lot of lifting anymore.
Right.
Like even to the point of trying to pull himself up in the truck.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of people that end up in situations like that end up in accidents.
Car accidents.
So from that vantage point, what are some of the suggestions that you tell me? And a shout out to my law partner Chris Mons, who does a lot of the accident cases, certainly for our firm, and has made a reputation over the last 18 years here in Central Florida dealing with accident cases. And so, but I know that a lot of the people that come to him, they're not able to, as you said, to bend and to stretch or even to pull themselves up. And do you find that is a common thing? And is it age? Does age have a factor to cause that to occur too?
So age has a factor as well as lifestyle. So I do see car accident patients. I see plenty of those. And with such a large trauma, you can expect the healing process to be a little bit longer. And it could be something that you're going to have to deal with over the rest of your life. But you want to make sure that you're doing the right things to manage it. So not saying, you're going to go completely back to normal, but you have to kind of adjust your lifestyle around what's going on in your spine. And then eventually, you'll have good days, good weeks, and good months, but that's where the power of maintenance care comes in. You want to make sure if you've been in an accident or if you've fallen, I've had patients, fall off of a ladder, things like that. If you've compromised your spine, it could take a little bit more time to get where you want to be. as far as inflammation. You want to keep your inflammation down. And you want to make sure you're doing those exercises, those core exercises.
Inflammation. Talk about that. What exactly is inflammation? We hear a lot about it, but we hear the label. But talk a little bit about what that is and how you handle it.
I hate inflammation. I really do. I do. I always tell my patients, ice, 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 ice. But inflammation, it's the body's way of kind of letting you know that something is going on. So when you sprain your ankle, it's going to send, signals to your ankle, and then it's going to swell up. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's trying to stabilize the area. It could be inflammation just throughout your body. So diet is a big thing with inflammation. A lot of dairy products cause inflammation. So when you're sick, I know it feels good. You want to, eat a little ice cream, drink a little milk, but you want to stay away from dairy products when you're feeling sick, because that increases mucus, increases inflammation. And then, if there is an injury, those first 24 hours, you want to put ice on that area. No heat. I have so many people who get hurt and the inflammation sets in and they put heat on it. That is not the right thing to do.
So that's heat on top of heat.
Heat on top of heat, that's now a forest fire. Ooh. So when you think of inflamed, the root of the word is flame,
right.
Heat. So now you're putting heat on top of heat, and now we have a forest fire. So in the first 24 to 36 hours after an injury, you want to make sure you're doing ice. And then after that, in the subacute phase, you can alternate ice and heat. But if something just happened, please don't put any heat on it. You want to put ice on it for sure. So that's one way to combat inflammation. And then internal inflammation, just with mucus and things like that, it's going to be your diet. Definitely.
So does
cut back on the dairy.
I know I've got some listeners out there that might want this question answered.
Uh-oh.
Does hot sauce contribute to inflammation?
No, it doesn't. Pour as much as you want. No, it does not. Hot sauce typically doesn't increase inflammation. Hot sauce is fine by me. I like hot sauce. I like the flavor, so I'm not going to say anything different.
All right.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
We understand. I think we all, growing up, particularly in the South, I think we all had a tendency to put a little hot sauce on our food, or some peppers, or whatever else it might go with the collard greens and the fried fish, or even the fried chicken and all of that other stuff. But
my dad loves Scotch bonnet peppers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're kind of like jalapenos.
Okay.
He makes his own sauce, and I can't stop him, so I just let him go for it. Just let him go.
But he probably told you, but it does not contribute to inflammation.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't at all. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Well, that's a good thing.
Yes,
that's a good thing.
Yes,
there are so many angles to this whole thing as we talk, because really when you think about, and I'm going back to the topic that we sort of, the big banner we gave for the month, pain awareness.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that people can do to become, I guess you can say, how do we avoid pain? I mean, most of us, when we get pain, first thing we do is go grab a Tylenol or an Advil or an Aleve or one of those things. And I know each one is a different type of medication.
Right.
But most people do that. But over a period of time, you were talking about, I believe earlier, that you can overdo that.
Absolutely.
And cause harm to your body and other areas.
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit.
Sure. I like pain, because pain tells you that something is wrong.
Interesting.
You don't want to have chronic pain, of course, but pain is going to let you know, hey, something's going on here. Pain is the last symptom. So something could be happening, your spine could be out of alignment. Pain is it's the check engine light. Like we're about to blow here.
Okay.
So pain is okay. It tells you, hey, focus on this area. So when patients come in with pain, I ask them, well, how long have you been like this? And they say, well, Dr. Ball, it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I give them my speech. We go to the principal's office. They get their speech. Pain is okay as long as we address where it's coming from. So it's similar, with your teeth. You don't really want to wait until you feel pain to go to the dentist. You want to go and get your cleanings, your routine cleanings. So even when it doesn't hurt, even when your teeth don't hurt, you still want to make sure you go in and get the maintenance. Same thing with our cars. You don't want to wait until your car's screeching and scratching and making all these noises before you go and get your oil change, get your tires aligned. You want to go and do maintenance. So the same thing with chiropractic care. Your body is a temple, and you only get one. You can trade in a car, you can get dentures, but you cannot get a new body. So that's the truth. So with pain, when they come in, my patients come in with the pain, we address it at its core. So sometimes they're having knee pain, but we can always go to the spine, go to the pelvis, and see if there's any misalignments there. So where they're feeling the pain isn't always where the pain is
that's
originating.
Where they're feeling the pain may not be the source of the pain.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. But you're able to talk about how you're able to figure out where
It's magic.
all right. Black girl magic.
Black girl magic. I got a little bit of that. So, we always do, as a chiropractor, I'm a nervous system specialist, a spine specialist. So I always look to the spine to see if there's any pinched nerves there. Because as we know, the nerves go down the legs, they go down the arms, they go to different areas. So if a patient comes in and says, Dr. Ball, my knee is hurting, of course we will do an exam on the knee. We'll check the meniscus, the ACL, the PCL. But a lot of times, if your pelvis is misaligned or your low back is misaligned, you're going to compensate. You're going to put either more pressure on the right leg, more pressure on the left leg. Myself, it's always my right side. I don't know what it is about me. I get adjusted as well. The chiropractor does go to the chiropractor.
All right.
But sometimes, if you can just look to the spine, it'll tell you where we need to go. So patients who are having, pain in their wrists, their elbows, I'll look at the neck. All the nerves that supply the arm and the fingers come from the neck. So a lot of times we can alleviate elbow pain or wrist pain or, carpal tunnel by adjusting the neck. And then with the sciatic nerve, it goes down to the foot, but I don't always just go and adjust the foot. I go to the source. The sciatic nerve comes from the low back. So that's where we go. So you have to look to the spine. Of course, there could be other issues. If it's a sprained ankle, of course, it's the ankle.
Okay.
If it's a PCL tear, of course, it's the knee. But if you can center and align the spine, a lot of the other ailments, knee pain, hip pain, ankle pain, toe pain, they will also resolve as well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
surprise.
learning. I think I need to have my pen here taking notes.
Yeah, take some notes. Everybody get your pens out. This is a free lesson. This is a free lesson. So the spine, you have to check the spine. Absolutely have to check the spine.
Wow.
That's where it all originates.
So when we have people that, for example, I was thinking about this earlier, that people can get misaligned in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
My job, of course, I do a lot of sitting.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly sitting. I'm at a computer.
Yeah.
I'm banging at this, working.
Yeah.
I'm writing. I'm doing these kinds of things. Many people today, of course, we're a sedentary society,
Mm-hmm.
and so we ended up doing a lot of sitting. But does that in itself cause potential for back issues, et cetera,
Absolutely.
along that way?
I love this question. Back in 2020, of course, when the pandemic hit, there were so many people who were now working from home. So the incidence of back pain, it skyrocketed. Everybody had back pain. Children had back pain. Literally everybody had back pain because they were working from home. They had to. They had no choice. So that could have been not avoided, but it could have been decreased had we had knowledge before of how to take care of your spine if you sit a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you're sitting a lot, you want to make sure your ergonomics, so how your desk is set up, how everything is set up around you, you want sit up straight. I saw you slouching. I wasn't going to say anything, but I was going to let you go. But you want to make sure your ergonomics are proper. So where your computer is, where your mouse is, how high you bring your chair, what kind of chair you have. All of these small things play a role in, for those of us who sit, how our body is going to feel. So I noticed also a major increase in neck pain, as well as headaches, more time in front of the computer, and again, those ergonomics. So my recommendation to any of the patients that work at a computer who sit a lot is to get up at the very least once every hour and just do a couple of minutes of stretching. Nothing crazy, just some hamstring stretches, shoulder rolls, whatever you have to do to keep the body moving. Some people can't get up every hour. Maybe they work on the phones. They can't get up every hour. So there are things you can do in your chair, which I'm not going to demonstrate right now, but there are things.
Challenge you to do that, right?
Yeah.
But they couldn't see behind the desk.
And they can't see anyway, so I'll let it slide. But there are just certain things that you can do. Again, you'll probably end up with a little bit of discomfort because you sit a lot, but we can decrease how much discomfort and then how often you feel it by just making sure we're stretching, drinking water. You'd be so surprised. I always tell my parents this, Mom and Dad, if you're listening, hello.
Right.
Dilution is the solution to pollution. I'm gonna
Run
write
that past me.
Yes,
You know you got to give that one
write it
back.
down.
You got to give that one back to me again now.
Dilution is the solution to pollution. So, and I'm not talking about diluting it with soda. We don't want to do that. But water, our bodies are 75% water. So we want to make sure that we are drinking at least bare minimum 8 glasses of water a day.
Wow.
For sure. And then even when we start drinking water, you'll notice, oh my gosh, I actually feel better. The water's going to go to the muscles. You're going to feel less rigid. a lot of people say, I just feel so stiff. One of my first questions is, are you drinking enough water? And then they look away because I know they're about to lie to me and say yes, but usually the answer is no, I'm not drinking enough water. You would be shocked how many people drink no water.
For our listeners to know, I do drink water.
Yes, you do.
So I don't get in trouble with my doc over
That's
here.
right. That's right. Matter of fact, take a sip right now. No, I'm just
See what I mean? Yeah.
But if you drink water, it'll go, like I said, directly to your muscles. You'll feel less stiff, less rigid, and will feel just better overall. So anybody, whether you're working, especially if you're working outside, actually, it's so hot here in Florida. Those who work outside, those who sit a lot, make sure your water intake is where it's supposed to be. And I promise you'll feel completely different when you drink enough water.
But how about the people that love to drink sodas, Cokes, and Gatorades, and those kinds of things? Aren't those good replacements for water?
Absolutely not. Please, if you're drinking soda, please stop. Please, please, please. Soda, the sugar content in soda is so high. It is incredibly high. I don't drink soda. I don't like soda. I've tried to go back and start drinking soda again. I love a pineapple ting. And then my stomach starts hurting. So, I mean, that just tells you how bad soda is for you. So no soda. Gatorade actually is super high in sugar content. I mean, there's Gatorade Zero and I think Gatorade Light. So there's those options. But Gatorade is really high in sugar as well. So that's not a good replacement. The only thing, now drink your regular water, but I'm a big fan of coconut water. Coconut water is really, really, really good for you. So I'll let coconut water slide, but you still also have to drink your regular water. So no sodas. And if, there are people who are like, I have to have my Mountain Dew in the morning, or I have to have my Coke because it wakes me up. And all right. So what I'm going to say is just cut back. Just cut back for our long-term health. Too much sugar, of course, leads to diabetes. And we don't want that. We absolutely don't want that. So drink your water. And if you drink 4 sodas a day, drink 3 in a bottle of water. And then maybe next month, drink 2 in a bottle of water. I'm not going to tell you to stop cold turkey. I'm not going to tell you that. I want to tell you that, but that's not realistic.
It's almost like smoking.
It's very similar, yeah.
Addictive.
Some people are addicted to sugar.
But, you're showing a very interesting connection, because who'd have thought that when we talk about the quote-unquote the bones, and we all tend to think that chiropractors only thing they do is come in and they crack your neck, and they make you do this, make you do that. But in reality, it's so much more.
Absolutely.
And even what you're saying here now is that things like the stuff that we ingest, such as sodas, it has a negative effect upon the body, and particularly upon not just the organs, but are you saying that it also can impact the bones and things like that?
Can impact everything. So our diet, if you're not taking in the right nutrients, of course you can end up with osteopenia, and which eventually develops into osteoporosis, which is weak and brittle bones. So if you're not getting the right amount of calcium, if you're not getting the right amount of vitamin D, that can actually affect your bones. If you're not getting the right amount of B12, that can affect your nerves. So when patients come in, they say, I'm having a lot of nerve pain, a lot of nerve issues. I always recommend B12 because B12 is amazing for nerves. So if we're not taking in the right nutrients through our diet, if we're taking in a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, salt is going to be a big precursor for inflammation. So it all comes back full circle. So I don't know why you're smiling.
No, I'm not really big. I actually cut back. I mean,
on the salt,
I tend to use a little bit of Himalayan salt.
That's good. That's good
the
salt.
pink salt. And I don't know. I guess I read somewhere they say that was better for black folks.
Absolutely
as
better.
opposed to the white salt. What's it called?
Really
iodized salt.
Yeah.
And which they've taken all the nutrients out of the iodized salt except the
nutrients.
Taste.
There's no nutrients. Just taste. So even salt plays a big part in inflammation, which plays a big part in how you're feeling and how you wake up and feel every single day. So diet's going to be definitely going to be a big thing. You don't want to have a diet full of junk. I hate to say it that way, but you treat yourself here and there. Don't get me wrong. I have my little things.
Right.
I love bundt cakes. I don't know what nothing bundt cakes. I love you, but that's few and far between. That's definitely few and far between. So your diet plays a big part in how you feel overall as well.
So then, many people are probably not aware of it, but you're showing us even a transition in dealing with the importance of nutrition and how that also factors in to the overall well-being of the body.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Nutrition plays a huge part. Again, I'm not going to say stop eating this, stop eating that, do this, do that. I want to, but I'm not going to say those things. But it's really just about making conscious choices. Do I need to be eating this tonight, or can I eat this instead? Because sometimes you'll be able to tell as we get older. Even you eat something, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. You're waking up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock with indigestion. You're waking up with heartburn. You're waking up just not feeling well. And then, okay, so now we need coffee to wake up. Now we need our soda to wake ourselves up. So making better choices in our food is going to affect us in the long term.
Wow.
And it'll affect your muscles. If you're not taking in enough protein, your muscle strength, you're not going to have enough muscle strength.
Oh, no. No, I was just thinking about this
Give me all
morning.
these guilty looks.
No, I actually, I worked out this morning, and I'm trying to increase the number of workouts now. But that was I was a little slow this morning because I really actually woke up with I think I kind of slept wrong, and that is another thing that happens.
Yeah.
But I remembered before I left out to go to get my workout, and I didn't do my fancy smoothie, but I made sure I got my 2 scoops of protein powder in the almond milk, shook it up, drank it right quick,
and head out the door. And that's all it takes. That's really all it takes. That's a very good practice. I went to the gym as well this morning. Immediately after, had my protein shake. So just small things like that. Swapping out coffee for a protein shake. I mean, and you can get a protein shake that tastes really good. A lot of people think protein tastes like chalk. It doesn't have to.
No.
It doesn't have to. My protein shakes, I'll give you the recipe. They do not taste like chalk. They're actually delicious.
Okay.
Chocolate, protein, a banana,
yes,
peanut butter, just a scoop of peanut butter, which is a good fat, and ice, and it's amazing. It tastes like a smoothie. It tastes like a chocolate shake.
Well, since we were exchanging ideas on smoothies
tell me what you got.
What I do is and I got this from another friend, but I actually freeze the bananas. And now when I put the banana in the smoothie and it, chirps up, it takes the place of the ice.
Right. So you don't
good.
That's good.
So that's a little trick.
A little trick. I'm gonna try that. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. And I love, but all of what you talked about as your ingredients, I love those. And those are, and it just depends on what I got in the freezer, what I got in the house.
Right.
I'm throwing sometimes I'm throwing everything.
Put it all in. Just put it all in.
Just
Nothing's
making sure
gonna
I get a couple scoops of that protein.
And that's how you can also get your fruit servings. Sometimes I'll throw some frozen strawberries, frozen, whatever comes in that big bag, frozen mangoes.
Yes.
You can throw those in, and now you've had protein and fruit. And it also helps with the sugar cravings. So once you have a really good protein, you're going to stay fuller longer. You're going to feel better. You're going to wake your brain up. Your brain now has fuel. I know I drink coffee. I know coffee, it wakes you up, but then you crash usually after. You have a good protein shake with some good fruits in it, some good healthy fats. You're going to feel awake. You're going to feel alert. You're going to be more productive. And it's not something that you have to do every single day. I would prefer that, but just small steps to small changes.
And just as an example, that nutrition also helps us with body movements.
Absolutely.
Because going back to the point about there may be others out there in the audience that like myself, who every now and then you sleep kind of crazy, you sleep twisted.
Me too.
Or something.
It's me too. Yeah.
And, you wake up like, oh my God, where did that pain come from?
What happened to me? Yeah.
But I hear you saying that the nutrition also helps to sort of like prevent the body's going a little wild, going a little crazy here.
It does. Again, right back, full circle to inflammation.
Going back to inflammation.
Back to inflammation. So if you want to feel better overall, you're going to put the right things into your body. So you wouldn't drive, a Porsche and put 87 in it. Am I preaching?
That's all my no. That's I don't have one. That was always my dream car.
Okay,
but maybe
soon.
I keep saying in due time. Prophesy.
Speak it. My next car, I'm speaking it, is going to be a Range Rover. I love them.
Yeah.
I love Range Rovers.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get it and put 87 in it.
No.
I'm just not going to do that. So it's the same thing with the one body that God gave us. You don't want to put 87 in a body that's supposed to run on 93.
Wow.
You don't want to do that. You might get 2 miles, but why get 2 when you can get 200? Why get
Did y'all hear that one?
Let me say it again. Say it again. Why get 2 on 87 when you can get 200 on 93?
Wow.
So what you're putting into your body is going to play a major factor overall in how you're feeling. So some people, they'll come to me and we'll be working on them, but they smoke cigarettes. which is really rough on the bones, really rough on your cardiovascular system. It promotes inflammation. So, you're going to feel better when you come, of course, but how long is it going to last?
You told me a few visits ago that when we find ourselves having cracking in our bones, and many of us, like you hear when you rotate your neck. Now, you didn't hear any cracking on
I
mine.
didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear
no
anything.
cracks, man.
Yeah.
No cracks. But you told me that was, if I remember correctly, you said that it was the bones were actually releasing gas.
Yes. So an adjustment is not. People think that, of course you watch YouTube and TikTok, and we love content. I create my own content as well. And you hear the cracks and the pops. A lot of people think that it is the bones like rocking or snapping against each other or knocking each other like bowling pins. That is absolutely not what it is. When you receive the proper adjustment or the proper alignment, it's just gas being released from the joints. So typically it's not painful. The bones are going back into place. The movement is small. It's not as big as we think it is, but a small movement makes a major impact. But it's really just gas, like cracking your knuckles. Or when you wake up in the morning and you